Hey guys, it's your girl Tower Crush back with another review, and this time it is for BMF, blowing money fast. No, it's not what it stands for. BMF, Black Mafia Family, Black Mafia Family, BMF on STARZ, on STARZ. I said on STARZ. No, I can't, and I'm not even gonna redo it. It is what it is. Hit my subscribe button if you haven't already. And I thank you in advance. If you don't, that's cool. Thank you for being here. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me go ahead and give a disclaimer to the people that know me in real life. Y'all know I don't really fool with 50 Cent, right? Y'all know I don't really fool with him since he ruined my dude, my boo, Ja Rule career, right? Okay, so I haven't watched none of the Powers, none of that. And I just swore out for him. Like, I just ain't gonna deal with him because he just be embarrassing people and stuff, and I just don't like it, right? So when I committed to this series, because of the previews, I didn't even pay attention to the fact that he was the executive producer, one of them. But I rest my heart assured that I'm doing the right thing because Tasha Smith is also an executive producer of this series, as well as the director. So, Black womanhood, yes. So we're going to ignore him. He doesn't count. Okay, so this series is about Demetrius Flenory. He is Big Meech. He is of Detroit. He was a drug dealer of the 80s and 90s, and he just is the man. So much so that a lot of the rappers that you hear now might mimic their lives behind this man, but he actually did it. He didn't have to fake the funk. He didn't have to be in the studio talking about it. He was actually out there on the streets doing it. So big ups to Meech. And I'm really excited about them doing this series now. It's not all 100% true story. It is loosely based on his life. So, you know, sometimes they'll make things a little bit more salacious just so that, you know, it's more interesting because, you know, life can be boring sometimes, even for a drug dealer. So, I don't know what's real and what's not, and I don't know a lot about the story, so it's going to be like my first time even hearing it. So, I don't know who's still with us, who isn't. I don't know. I just have my wishes so far of who's going to make it and who doesn't. So that's the gist of the story. And it has it's very star-studded, I will say. A lot of faces that you will recognize. I know Snoop Dogg has some cameos in here. Cash Doll is also in this series. Cute guy from All American. He's a teenager on the show. I just really hope he's not really a teenager because he's like so totally awesome. He plays T on this series. So awesome. And then Big Meech's son is actually playing him, a younger him, in this series. So it's Demetrius Flenory Jr. So it's a lot of very well-known people in the film industry, and there's a lot of well-known people like Meech's son, period. Okay, so that's the gist of my introduction of the series. Okay, so the series starts and it kind of flips back and forth from old Meech to new Meech to medium Meech to adolescent Meech. Kind of goes all over the place, but we kind of get the gist of his family, though hardworking, was always struggling. So that's what really attracted him to the streets in the first place, and to his boss, who had a nice car and jewelry and things like that. That's what actually caught his eye. So before long story short, Meech wound up getting put out of school because he was left school because he wanted to sell drugs full time. And he saw big things for himself. At some point, his brother saw him get in the car with his boss and wanted to go too. The boss said no, but then said he can come. Meech didn't stop it. If Meech had stopped it, maybe T wouldn't have gotten involved in the drug game, but flat out, he fell in love with it, just like Meech did, you know. So, you know, and everything that comes with it, you know, not just the drugs, but the money, the power, the respect, the women, everything. You know, it's kind of hard for especially a teenager because, mind you, he's still in school and he's got a girlfriend and he's got a baby on the way now, you know. So he's definitely been living the life and enjoying, you know, his drug dealer money and his drug dealer bounties. Now, mind you, Demetrius does still live with his parents, but they do not approve of his lifestyle. In fact, his father wanted him put out once he found out he was selling drugs, but the mother would not have it. Lucille said no. Lucille said no, and if Lucille said no, then it's a no. So he stayed in the house And, you know, they kept telling me to stay away from T because they had high hopes for T. T wanted to go and, you know, write or, you know, sing or write music. He wanted to do something special with his life. And so while he did have a baby on the way and while he was in the streets, he was still going to school and intended on staying in school. Now, his girlfriend, you know, he definitely cares about her. Her name's Wanda. Pretty girl, very loyal. But he doesn't live with her. He still lives at home. So, you know, we see him go to her baby shower, and we find out that he paid for everything at the baby shower, but he just was not going to stay because that was not his thing. So he left the baby shower, whatever. You know, she didn't want him to because, you know, her family's like, who is this guy? What is he about? Like, why is he never around? You know how we are. Y'all know how we are. So she was feeling the pressure of her family. And one night, he didn't care. He was like, look, I'm a lot of things, but this ain't me. And I respected him for that. Plus, he fine. Plus, he fine. Did I mention he fine? Yeah, he is fine. Okay, so. Okay, so moving right along. You know, it is what it is. I mean, yes. So we do see that Demetrius, you know, he's living his life, enjoying life, and he's got this girlfriend named Mo, or a chick that he's seeing, and Mo is actually played by Cash Doll. Cash Doll. I love Cash Doll. I love it. Did I tell you I love Cash Doll? I love Cash Doll. She is doing it for brown girls, and I just love it. Well, she is definitely playing her role. She probably channeled a little bit of herself in the role because she's like, yeah, I got some money, but I always use more. I know that's right. That's so Cash Doll. So she's definitely given for this role. I really love it. And she went topless. I was like, okay, Cash Doll, you showed your whole boobies. Okay, you go, girl. Spicy. Spicy. But, you know, she's got this ex who, I guess, you know how sometimes when people are together, you let them claim your child or say that your child starts calling them daddy or mommy or whatever. Well, that was the case with him, but he wasn't her real father. Well, he had been locked up the last couple of years. And apparently she's been having her daughter write and pray for him and stuff, but her daughter thinks that he's in the hospital. Well, it's not in the hospital, he was in jail. Well, he comes by her house and she's like, you can't just be popping up over my house. You know, basically like, she's not your daughter, you know, basically telling him like, dude, you tripping. And so he's like, what, you got company or something? And she was like, it's none of your business. And so shortly after he leaves, but he didn't really leave. He just went and sat in the car to wait to see who came out her house. And it was Meech, of course. And so Meech is walking to the car, not paying no attention. Dude hits him in the hip, kind of flungs him a little bit. It says, stay away from my B, you know, and drives off. And, you know, of course, Meech is like, yeah, this dude's crazy. So Meech definitely had, you know, a bit of respect for this man before he ever hit him with the car. And so we know that he's kind of loco. But he used to run the streets before he went to jail selling heroin. And so he's really on a mission to get back to running the streets and whatnot. So we see that, and Meech is actually trying to level up himself. So we see he has a meeting with Phil Mel and the 12th Street crew about, you know, territories and whatnot. And, you know, T went with him, of course, but T had the bright idea to get a gun before they got there and wound up pulling the gun during the meeting, which put Meech in a bad position because you don't do that. And he didn't even run it by Meech before he did it, and they thought it was going to be all good. And Meech was like, nah, you don't, you know, put that away. We don't need that. You know, trying to play it off, and basically gave them territory. Like, you know what, we out of here. My bad what my brother did, you know, whatever. He ain't mean nothing bad. You know, like, yeah, and we gonna look past what he did too. And what. So, okay. So they leave, and of course, Meech is like, where did you get a gun from? You know, and get rid of it. Told him to get rid of it. But of course, we wouldn't have no TV show if he did everything Meech told him to do. He kept the gun and wound up getting caught by his parents. They put Meech out because they figured since Meech was the one selling drugs, he's the one that did it. So Meech got put out of the house, and he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. You got me put out and whatnot. So that's most of their dynamic. And then we have a situation where T's baby mama, Wanda, actually goes into labor. Oh, no. Sorry. Long Long story. I won't do it again, I promise. It's long story. Okay, so he's there with her and he takes her home or whatever. But apparently they had a meeting and he was late for the meeting and Meech was looking for him. And he's talking to Meech. He's like, look, I just got home with my girl. And he was like, I don't care. I'm not care. You are late for this meeting. Let's go. And she was like, go on. I got it from here. And you know, basically told him to go on, but bring the pacifier back in before he left. So he's in the car digging around for the pacifier, and then boom, he gets shot in the face. It was gruesome. I was not expecting it. It shocked the heck out of me. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to make it? Oh my goodness, what's going on? And so I'm going to end that episode right there. And then I'm going to say, shit. Now we're going to move on to episode 2. And I'm going to keep it on the same reel. We're not going to do 2 separate. No. Episode 2 starts now. Okay, so it opens up with Meech in the hospital. Basically, Meech whipping in and out of traffic, you know, trying to get to the hospital. He gets to the hospital. He pulls a gun. He cocks it back, and he walks in the hospital. And I don't know what he was thinking. Like, bro, you cannot walk in a hospital with a cocked gun and expect to get any service. Like, they are not going to give a dang about your brother. They're going to give a dang about you holding a gun and who you trying to shoot with it. No, sir. So, of course, hospital security comes around the corner, and they're like, hey, freeze. Drop the weapon. He's like, I ain't dropping nothing. You know, so of course his police officer friend comes and diffuses the situation. Basically tells the officer, I got him. Go on. Gets the gun from Meech. Sends Meech back to his brother. He asks his brother who did it. His brother don't really know. Except for one, I guess the guy he had beef with at school or whatever. So of course Meech goes to find that dude, pistol whips him, but lets him go because dude convinces him that he didn't shoot him. And they don't sit well with his boys because basically his brother just took a bullet to the face and he ain't shot nobody yet. And they feel like if you really what you say you are, somebody should have been shot by now. And so he's got this one partner that he's been, I guess, in business with for 10 years, B. Mickey. I don't like him at all. I don't like his mode. I don't like him. He's definitely hungry for power. And I don't like that. And I hope Meech sees it too, that, you know, he's always challenging his authority and whatnot. Like, when you going to do something, you know, it's hard to keep the boys at bay because they ready to pop. They think you look weak. You know, he's talking to him like this, like, bro, you don't talk to your boss like that. You just don't. And I'm just surprised that, you know, Meech wasn't as ruthless as he's made to seem in the media. He's definitely a human being and he's a smart one. And he likes to think with his brain instead of think with his trigger finger. So, you know, he's basically like, I'm going to find out who shot my brother before I bust anybody. I'm just not going to just be shooting people because you know, I feel like they may have something to do with it. And so that holds for a little while, but not for long because, you know, he's in the drug game and, you know, that's gang banging. And, you know, people ain't going to really take too kindly to you not doing much. Now, Lamar, you remember, is Mo, Meech's girlfriend's ex. He's got it out for Meech, period. And so he starts the rumor with Slick, one of the guys he used to run with. I guess he used to be Slick's provider before he went to jail. And then Slick had to start getting it from, you know, Phil Mill. Well, basically, he walks up to Phil Mill and Slick, and, you know, Phil Mill's like, we ain't taking no applications from the Special Olympics. And, you know, Lamar laughs it off. And we know he 10K crazy, right? He did one of them numbers. I'm like, that ain't going to be good. So him and Slick walk off, and he drops the bug in Slick's ear that J-Mo is the one that shot T being Meech's brother. And so we like, what? So, of course, he starts spreading the rumor. The rumor goes around, gets back to Kato. Kato is one of the females in Meech's crew. She's the only female in Meech's crew. And she basically tells B. Mickey that, you know, it's J-Mo is what the streets is saying. And so he's like, well, what Meech gonna do? And she was like, I don't know. And so everybody's like, well, we need to go do something ourselves. And they like, nah, we're gonna wait on Meech. And so Meech is like, well, how do we know it's him or whatever? Long story short, Meech does get his police officer friend to deliver BMO to him. And, you know, he's beating BMO's ass. And he's like, what, you did this, you did this, you did this. And he's like, I didn't do it, man. I just didn't do it. Come on, man. And, you know, he's got the gun pulled on him. But, you know, B. Mickey told him to go ahead and cut his water off because dude was crying. He's like, man, this man out here crying like a baby. Cut his water off. And he wouldn't do it. So B. Mickey took a gun out and shot him in the head. Shot dude in the head, J-Mo. And, you know, Meech was like, what you do it for? He was like, man, don't trip. We gonna tell everybody you did it and that you'd be our little secret. Because, you know, he was just basically looking at it like, we look like some punks out here. And, yeah, let's start a war. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be coming for you before they come for me because you the top dog. That's the way I'm looking at it. I don't like B. Mickey at all. And so when him and Meech was into it, and he was like, I made the judgment call. He said, as long as I'm running crap, you don't make no calls. And dude act like he was going to pull his gun on Meech. And Meech said, do it. I was like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please, no, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it, sir. He didn't mean it. And so Meech, before he leaves, tells him to clean up the body. And that's that. And so we did see B. Mickey try to come on to Kato later that night. She in his mama's house, you know, dancing and stuff. And she like, nah, we're not messing around because I'm the only female in the crew and I won't have no respect if I give it up. So no, we're not messing around. And so he definitely wants that. He definitely wants that. But she's like, I ain't into it. It's really giving desperate. So please stop. And that I do like about her. And let's see. It was kind of crazy though, because when T was in the hospital, he had to have surgery, of course. He did not die. So he's fighting for his life and he gets his bearings and wants to leave and go find his brother. Like, why are you looking for your brother? You know, and so they figure out that his infection in his eye has spread to his brain. So they didn't know if it was going to blind him. Daddy threatened him with some lawsuits. Like, better not nothing be wrong with my son's egg. Better not nothing be wrong with it. Better not. He better be 2020 or y'all gonna have a lawsuit. And you know, when he woke up from that last surgery, he was talking to Wanda and, you know, basically asking about his brother, talking about he needs to see his brother. And Wanda's like, I can't believe you still worried about the streets and your brother. And we sitting here and you just got, you know, somebody try to execute you. You know, when you sitting here worried about the streets, what about us? What if they come back? What if they shoot, you know, T Jr., you know, and so he's just like, it's not going to happen. He's like, I'm not leaving the streets. So I feel like right then and there, she was supposed to make a decision for her and her baby to leave him alone because he made this decision. They just put a bullet in your face, bruh, and you still ready to go back out there selling more drugs? Okay. That means that we don't mean nothing to you. You go on and do your thing. Go on, because I'm going to keep me and my baby safe. That's what I hope she does. But of course, not in this episode. But hopefully she gets away from him because I don't want to see anything happen to his child or her. And, you know, that's part of the game. Like, you say being a drug dealer's girlfriend, wife, or whatever, you got to deal with what comes with that lifestyle because you're enjoying and reaping the benefits of it. So, like, something happened to him, you can't even tell nobody nothing because you in the game too, because you are the girlfriend and you know what's going on. So that's that. And, you know, I will say that their mother, Lucille, was channeling Boys in the Hood when she first got to the hospital. And she seen Meech. She said, if it dies, it's on you. It's your fault. I was like, all I needed to do was start scratching his chest like this. Like, what did you do? She was like, it's because of you. It's like, no, it was a robbery. Don't lie to me. But it did appear to be a robbery, but I don't think. But again, Lamar saying that it's J-Mo makes me feel like it was not J-Mo. But J-Mo's dead now. So we're going to see what happens with that. But with his motive be, to me, Lamar wants to be back on top. So he's going to try to knock out all the big dogs so that he can, you know, stake his claim. And right at the end of this episode, remember when, you know, Female basically told him that they weren't taking applications from the Special Olympics? Yeah, he had his Special Olympics because he beat the dog mess out of Female. It was Female was trying to fight back, but he just was no match for a crazy dude. And I mean, he beat him up, threw him into the dumpster, and then threw his body and like flung him into the dumpster head first, and then picked him up and threw him into the dumpster and walked off. I don't think he's dead, but dang. Female better watch who he's calling Special Olympics because he's really, really that kind of special. I mean, he had sex with a girl in the restaurant on the floor without condom. It was funny though. He's like, she got ass for days, don't she? And Trim was like, Slick was like, yeah, she got a whole lot of other stuff too. The little jabs that they throw here and there, I think are really cute. So I think I'm really, really, really going to enjoy this series. And also, we did see, I just want to make sure I'm covering everything. I know I'm out of order, but Lamar did go to Zoe's school. Zoe is Monique's child, the one that is not his daughter, but kind of his daughter. He went to her school with a raggedy teddy bear, and she basically was like, I'm not supposed to be spending no time with you. And Mo wrote up on him later like, how dare you go to my child's school? That was just so funny and so hood and so realistic. And yeah, so he's very, very delusional. But I think at some point, something may happen to Mo, because she's going to probably start straddling both sides of the fence, because those little fake ass letters he wrote really got to her. And I'm like, girl, he did it in the restaurant. That is not real. He did it over some fries and a sandwich and some other girl's coochie. Do not believe. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't, again, please subscribe. I will be back next week. And I have a couple more reviews to upload, so look out for those. That is my $5.02. Peace.